गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन, आवाज आ रही है. So welcome to you all on Exampur IAS English medium, and today we are going to discuss the topic of winds, how the winds originates and their classification and types and their features, specials regarding the prelims exams of UPSC Prelims 2022. And earlier we have finished the section of atmosphere with the composition of gases, structure and stratification of atmosphere, also the temperature, the inversion of temperature, albedo. These topics we have already finished, and today we are going to discuss winds section. Okay, so welcome to you all. सौरभ राज, सुमित तिवारी, शुभ प्रभात बच्चे. सो आज विंड्स का टॉपिक हम लोग करेंगे बहुत ही शानदार तरीके से. होप कि यू ऑल आर गोइंग टू एंजॉय. एक बार इस इवेंट को सभी लाइक और शेयर जरूर कर दीजिएगा. डू लाइक एंड शेयर दिस इवेंट. ग्रेजुअली ही सही, बट एटलीस्ट अवेयर हो स्टूडेंट तक कि हाँ क्या कंटेंट हम आपको इस चैनल पर भी प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं. ओके, दैट्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. सो वंस अगेन वेलकम टू यू ऑल. ओके, मैं एक बार कमेंट्स में देख लेता हूं. या सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल we are going to discuss what are the winds and what is winds, then how do winds originates, how the winds blows, we will get this knowledge, and then we are coming for the what are the classification and the types of the winds. Okay, either you can see the permanent winds and the seasonal winds, the local winds. We will cover the whole wind section. So first of all, we will going to discuss what is winds, how it originates, how can a winds originate over the earth's surface, the first important thing. Okay, so once again welcome to you all. Arjun, Sumit, Saurabh Raj. Okay, come. So first point about the winds is, then I am giving my explanation about the winds, how the winds originate. It is an air movement having both direction and a speed. It is made up of gusts and eddies that can only be felt and not seen. You haven't seen the winds, but you can feel it. You can feel the waves, you can feel the sounds created by the winds. Okay, so this is what we have given you. It is an air movement having both direction and speed. It is made up of gusts and eddies that can only be felt and not seen. Unlike rain and snow, and wind makes the leaves falls, sand moves, trees waves, hair fly, etc. Now we are coming for our examples. Let's see. In some particular area, there is a two particular region. One is warmer and relatively another one is colder. So you can see here it is the warmer one, warmer surface. ठीक है, this side is the warmer surface and this side is the relatively colder surface. Everything is in a relative manner. Okay, here it is the colder surface. So just because of the maximum heat received by this place, this will becomes the heated surface, and just because of the conduction process, you can see the air surrounding above the earth's surface is getting heated and air becomes warm. Now the air becomes warm and it will raises above. Now it is raising and the air is in a ascent mode. You can show here. Air is in a ascent mode, or air is rises above the earth's surface. It's just because of it becomes a heated or a warm, and the warm air is becomes the light. It will move upwards, and so this will create a pressure, and that is the low pressure. It will create the low pressure here. Okay, when the air raises above the earth's surface. Another reason you can see this one is the colder surface, or there is a subsidence of air. The high pressure can be formed by the subsidence of air and also with the colder surface. Okay, what we have discussed earlier. Okay, we have finished the air pressure belt also, in which we have seen the equatorial low pressure, the ITCZ, doldrums, horse latitude, subpolar low pressure, polar high pressure. And today we will discuss the winds which will take another advantage of the pressure belt. So see here, the colder surface and the subsidence of air creates a high pressure in this zone. So what is winds? So it is a movement of air with having direction. So what air in motion, simply we can see air in motion and having direction is called winds. Simply, very simple way. Air in motion and having direction is called the winds, like we have seen in our passage. So, and the winds blows from high pressure to low pressure. Now we see कि there was the high pressure zone and there is a low pressure zone. So winds blows between high pressure to low pressure. Here you can see the maximum agglomeration of the air, and this side air rises above. So winds blows from high pressure to low pressure. Winds blows from high pressure to low pressure. Or what is winds? So I am giving you a definition in a short manner. Air in motion and having direction. Air in motion and having direction is called winds. So write down these things. And how the winds blows? So it blows from high pressure to low pressure, which you have seen in this picture. Saurabh, Sumit, Arjun, Rakshita, very nice. Okay. That means the one more thing I want to explain here. The horizontal movement is occurring here, not the vertical. So winds blows in a horizontal way. If air uplifts or raises above, it is called the currents, not the winds. Mind it always. You can see here that air is raises above the earth's surface. So this one is not so called the winds. This one is convective currents, not the winds. So winds blows always in a horizontal way. Winds blows in horizontal, not in a vertical way, or this will called what? This will call convective currents. Either the air is in a ascent mode or a descent mode. Here you can see the ascent mode is here. So this one is convective currents. We should refer what? The currents, not the winds. And here it is the winds. This one is winds. So winds always blows in a horizontal way. Vivek Kumar, Baua Bihar ke, very, very warm welcome to both of you. And do like and share. This channel is, I can't say the new one, but I am the new one on this channel. But when I have arrived on this channel, so I have to promote this channel also. And with your support, with your love, we will do best again on this channel. So, understand it or got it what I have said. The ascent mode of air is called the convective currents, and the horizontally the blowing of air is called the winds. Getting or not? Okay. So come. So next point is again this. Since it cannot be seen, a conventional instrument is used to measure wind direction. How to calculate or measure the wind's direction? So if the question arises like this, how to measure wind's direction? How to measure wind direction, you can see this is the instrument and that is so called what? So this one is the weather cock or a weather vane. विंड वेन, अगर आप हिंदी देखोगे इसका तो विंड वेन इसको हम लोग लिखकर कहते हैं। ठीक, ये ऊपर मुर्गा लगा हुआ है, मुर्गा देखा होगा, ठीक, ये मुर्गा लगा हुआ है, विंड वेन ध्यान में रखिएगा। सो वेदर कॉक और वेदर वेन इज द इंस्ट्रूमेंट बाय विच वी कैन कैलकुलेट और मेजर द विंड्स डायरेक्शन। नॉर्थ वेस्ट साउथ ईस्ट, you can show the direction of the winds coming from which direction. Okay, got it or not? Here one more thing we have to mention, that's the Vivek, Rakshita, Saurabh and also the Baua, Arjun, Sumit. Write one or two sentences. The horizontal movement of air is described. The horizontal movement of air is described as the wind caused by the heating of the what? Sun and the rotational movement of the earth. So one more sentence you must add here. The horizontal movement of air, the horizontal movement of air is described as the wind caused by the heating of the sun, and rotational movement of the earth. Caused by the heating of the sun, and rotational movement of the earth. Is it clear? कि जब तक ये पृथ्वी का धरातल कहीं पर गर्म हुआ, कहीं पर कम गर्म हुआ और पृथ्वी की घूर्णन क्रिया के द्वारा, इन दोनों के द्वारा पृथ्वी पर पवन की उत्पत्ति होती है। सिंपल सा ध्यान में रखिएगा सही बच्चे। ओके, नाउ वी आर कमिंग फॉर द हाउ द विंड्स ओरिजिनेट्स। नेक्स्ट वी आर कमिंग फॉर हाउ विंड्स ओरिजिनेट। और सिंपली पहले हम लोग अभी उस पर आएंगे। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल पहले इस स्लाइड को देखिए जरा सा। टाइप्स ऑफ विंड्स, हियर इट इज द टाइप्स ऑफ विंड्स। देयर आर 3 टाइप्स ऑफ विंड्स ऑन अर्थ surfaces, you can see the permanent winds, the seasonal winds and the local winds. So these are the 3 types of winds which blows above the earth's surface. The first one we will take first, that's the permanent winds, then we will switch for the second one and then the last. So first of all you can see here we have to mention the permanent winds. Permanent winds, first one. Up, if you remember the only one name of these winds, so there is a need of to remember several more, and it is also called what? Geostrophic winds. This one is called geostrophic winds. Then this is also called planetary winds, and having some another name also, and that is the prevailing winds. So there is a need to remember these 4 names of these winds. Okay, these 4 names of these winds. Okay, and then you see here the permanent winds. These are also called the invariable or a planetary wind system because they blow over larger areas of the earth and they blow in the same direction throughout the year. I am going to mention it, how these winds blows and what about the circumstances which creates these winds. Okay, so you should must remember these 2 points also. Okay, so again, what you have to remember, the name of the permanent winds. Some other name of the permanent winds is the geostrophic winds. In Hindi it is so called the Bhuvikshepi Pavan, planetary winds, Grahiya Pavan, and prevailing winds, Sanatani Pavan. One more things, like in English you can see sometimes spelling like this becomes very critical for you, Sanatani winds. Then what will you do? So you should also remember the Hindi or English terminologies should be clear into Hindi or English language both. Okay, so you can see here the permanent winds, the geostrophic winds, the planetary winds, and the prevailing winds. Now we are coming for the points. See, make a heading, permanent winds. It blows full year in a constant direction throughout the year. हम लोग सिंपल सी बात करें, it blows full year in a constant direction because of balance between Coriolis force and pressure gradient force. The point about the permanent winds, it blows full year in a constant direction, because of balance between Coriolis force and pressure gradient force. Okay, Coriolis force and a pressure gradient force. Is it clear? So now we are going to learn how these two forces having an impact over the permanent winds, and how these two forces are the major causes behind the formation of these permanent winds. So what do you think about the Coriolis force first of all, or a deflection force? We are going to learn first thing about the Coriolis force. This question has asked in 67 BPSC Prelims exam, who had just cancelled just because of the paper was leaked in ARA. Jia, welcome on English channel, Exampur IAS English medium. Here we will try to learn in English totally. I am also trying my best to give my lecture in English totally. So you should also have to learn in a English. Okay, so first of all we are going to take Coriolis force. इंग्लिश मीडियम के जो बच्चे होते हैं उनको इंग्लिश में ही लिखना होता है बिना ट्रांसलेट किए हुए, पहला। दूसरा कि इंटरव्यू भी उनका इंग्लिश में ही होता है। धारा प्रवाह फ्लुएंसी होनी चाहिए, हाँ, ध्यान रखिए। सो कोरियोलिस फोर्स, यहाँ पर हिंदी से पढ़ने से काम नहीं चलेगा कि हम हिंदी में पढ़ ले, आपको लर्न करना होगा ना, हाँ, करेंगे पढ़, लर्न करना पड़ेगा। सो कोरियोलिस फोर्स और अ डिफ्लेक्शन फोर्स, what is it? Anyone can give an idea about the Coriolis force or the deflection force? What is it? Simply we can see the force that deflects, the force that deflects the direction of the winds, the force that deflects the direction of the wind is called what? Deflection force. is called deflection force. Because it was discovered by the Coriolis, the person, so it has name upon a Coriolis force. Getting a point? It has name upon a Coriolis force. Now, about the winds deflected to right in the north hemisphere and reflected to left in the south hemisphere because of the Coriolis force. Okay. One more point you should add here. Winds deflected to right in north hemisphere and deflected to left in south hemisphere by Coriolis force. It was given by the Ferrel's, and so it is also referred as a Ferrel's law. This is the Ferrel's law also. It is Ferrel's law. So by the Ferrel's law, winds deflected to right in north hemisphere and winds deflected to left in south hemisphere. So this is the hemisphere, north hemisphere and the south hemisphere. So, but how it happened, we are going to discuss. Sonal, welcome to this channel, bache. Today we have taken the winds topic and we are going to cover the whole content about the winds which can be asked in a UPSC IAS Prelims exams and also as well as in the state PCS exam. So now you see here that I have drawn a Earth as a globe here, and Earth is rotating on its axis. You have known about these things. Earth is rotating on its axis from west to east. From west to east. So when a body or an object is moving further, there is a force behind it, and that is so called the deflection force, which deflects. जब भी आप इवन बाइक चलाते हो ना, तो आप पे एक बल लगता है. मूविंग ऑब्जेक्ट के पीछे अपोज एक बल लगता है, and that is so called the deflection force. And here we can see, so this one is the deflection force against the moving direction. So deflection force works against the moving direction. So moving direction from west to east, so deflection force works as a east to west from this way. And it is maximum at poles. It is maximum at poles. At both places it is maximum. At North Pole or South Pole. North Pole or South Pole. Then we see it is totally zero at equator. It is totally zero at equator. Not negligible, not less. It is zero at equator. So this is the deflection force works against the moving direction of the Earth, and it applies on every moving objects above the Earth's surface. Every moving objects. Okay. So we can see the maximum Coriolis force occurs at North Pole and the South Pole, and it is minimum, it is zero at equator. Then one more thing, direction of winds depends on Coriolis force. So you can write down about the Coriolis force, which questions arise in exam. It originates by this one was the 67 BPSC prelims exam question which was cancelled on same day. So it originates by rotation of the earth. Rotation of the earth. Take next. It is maximum at poles and zero at equator. Maximum at poles and zero at equator. And the last one, direction of winds. Direction of winds depends on Coriolis force. Direction of winds depends on Coriolis force. Is it clear or not? So, this is all about the Coriolis force or a deflection force, how it originates, how it having a impact over the permanent winds or a moving winds. Okay. Now we are coming for pressure gradient force. Now we are coming for the pressure gradient force. In Hindi it is so called the Vayu Dab Pravanata Bal. The gap, the gradient. Gradient is called the what? Gradient is what? The gap. The gap. Like because of the differential heating of the Earth's surface, because of the direct rays of the sun, because of the slant rays of the sun's light or sun rays, so the differential heating of the Earth's surface creates the different pressure zone. And here you can see the formation of the high pressure, and here you can see the low pressure. Again you can see there is a high pressure and there is a high pressure. At different places, several places becomes a high pressure zone and some places becomes a low pressure zone. And winds blows from high pressure to low pressure. We know it. So you can see here the winds blows from this side. Now you see the gap. What is the gap? The low pressure, here you can mention a 970 millibar. We have discussed the air pressure on sea level. The average air pressure on sea level is 1013.25 millibar, 1034 gram per cubic centimeter and 14.7 pound per square inch. Pound per square inch. So here we can see the 970 millibar has created above this place and this will become a low pressure. Another side, this one is 1090 millibar. Here it is the 1030 millibar. And now you can see the 990 millibar. So these three places relatively having the high pressure zone to this place. So winds blows from these three regions to this region. But the gap between these two pressure, and that is so called the pressure gradient. So the gradient is here 120 millibar. Gradient is here is 120 millibar. This side is 60 millibar. And here it is only the 20 millibar. So now you can see the gradient, that is the gap between the high pressure and the low pressure about the pressure gap. So the maximum pressure gap or a maximum gradient is in between the, if we suppose a name of this places, like see, here it is the A, this one is the B, here it is the C, and here it is the D. So in between the A to D, the maximum speed of the winds are there. Maximum speed of winds. So air moves fastly in between these two pressure zone because of the pressure gradient is so much high in between these two regions. So one more point you have to add in your notes. The speed of winds depends on pressure gradient force. So you have to write down one more point here. A speed of winds depends on pressure gradient force. A speed of winds depends on pressure gradient force. Is it clear? And also you can write down the velocity of wind is directly proportional to the pressure gradient force. The same thing you can write down in a different manner. The velocity of winds is directly proportional to the pressure gradient force. The velocity of wind is directly proportional to the pressure gradient force. Okay. Is it clear? And this flow about the pressure gradient force, you should also know the flow is from high pressure to low pressure and it is at right angles to isobars. It is right angles to isobars. Like this one become a high pressure, here it becomes a low pressure. So right angle to isobars. It is at right angles to isobars. Up now I am giving you a concept how the permanent winds blows full air in a constant direction. Let's see. Like suppose this one is a subtropical high pressure belt. Suppose this one is subtropical, example के तौर पर high pressure belt. And this side is equatorial low pressure belt. These two regions. So what about the direction of the trade winds which flows fully in a constant direction? It is also called the easterlies winds. But how it acquires the easterlies direction? It should blow between the subtropical and the equatorial region. Then there should be the direction from north to south. But there is a direction of northeast to southwest. But the direction of trade winds is the northeast to southwest. How? Then we can see by the pressure gradients, the speed of winds or the velocity of winds depends, but by the Coriolis force or a deflection force, their direction will depends. And now you see, you have just written in north hemisphere because of the deflection force winds turn to their right hand side. Because the earth is moving on its axis, rotation of earth is here and you can see the trade winds this side. Trade winds acquires the direction from northeast to southwest because of the Coriolis force. Because of the Coriolis force. Getting a point or not? Because of the Coriolis force. Okay. Northwest. Southeast to northwest. So here we have seen how the permanent winds blows above the Earth's surface, how it constantly blows throughout the year. Now, next slide. Some points about the trade winds is here. You must write down. The first point is, these flow from subtropical high pressure to equatorial low pressure belts in both hemisphere, north and south. Again, these are known as the northeast trade winds in the northern hemisphere and southeast trade winds in the southern hemisphere. Trade winds is also known as Sanmargi winds. It is easterlies winds. These 2 points you have to add also. Then you see their direction of movement is northeast to southwest in the northern hemisphere. I have just explained why. And southeast to northwest in the southern hemisphere. And by the impact of these trade winds, we can see the formation of hot desert in the western side of continent because of the subsidence of trade winds at that region. Is it clear? Are you guys can understand whole content in English medium or not? Soumya Sekhar, welcome on Exampur IAS English medium. So are you all able to get all things in English medium or not? Next we are coming for this picture. You can see there is a equatorial low pressure doldrums or ITCZ zone. Then you can see the subtropical high pressure zone in between 30 to 35 degree north or south. There is a subpolar low pressure belt in between 60 to 65 degree north or south, and then the 80 to 90 degree there is a high pressure zone of the polar zone. So these are the pressure belt zone in which the permanent winds blows full year in a constant direction. So the question demands in between which two pressure belt which winds is blowing. The first, their directions, their features. Okay. So first we have seen a trade winds, and these two are the trade winds you can see here. Trade winds. In Hindi it is so called the Vyaparik Pavan. Trade winds, that is also the Sanmargi winds, the easterlies winds. Okay. So now you see the trade winds blows in both hemisphere, in the north or the south hemisphere. Now we are coming for the prevailing winds. Westerlies winds. Okay. So westerlies winds blows between subtropical high pressure to subpolar low pressure belt. And we talk about the polar winds. Polar winds blows between the polar high pressure to subpolar low pressure belt. So these are the winds. Here it is the westerlies. First of all, the types of permanent winds is three. That is the trade winds, westerlies and the polar winds. So here it is the westerlies winds, and here it is the polar winds. These are the types of permanent winds. Types of permanent winds is these three. The first one is trade winds, second one is westerlies, and the third one is polar winds. So we have just discussed the trade winds. Now we are going for the westerlies winds. Okay, now we are going for the westerlies winds. I hope you all are getting me what I am delivering about this topic. This is the most important thing. You should clear your concept first of all, and then also the static portion you should remember. Okay, so now we are coming for the westerlies winds. And here comes the westerlies. See, westerlies winds. Westerlies flow from subtropical high pressure to subpolar low pressure winds, because the winds always blows between the high pressure to low pressure. Soumya, we will start Indian geography by Thursday this week in Sarthak batch. You can mention in comments box if someone from the English medium, they can join me and they can get content, they can read live on this channel. बिल्कुल कंप्लीट करेंगे सौम्या. Now, their direction about the westerlies winds. So westerlies winds, you can see here, it blows between subtropical high pressure to subpolar low pressure. So now you see it blows between the subtropical to subpolar. Here it is the subtropical to subpolar. So this should be attain a direction from at a right angle like this from south to north, but just because of the Coriolis force, in which we know the winds blows and turn to their right hand side in northern hemisphere because of the Coriolis force. So again you can see here, winds blows to the tend to the right hand side. Again the right hand side you are showing here, and acquires the direction of southwest to northeast. Southwest to northeast. That is the direction. And direction of the what? The westerlies winds in north hemisphere. Westerlies winds in north hemisphere. And vice versa in southern hemisphere. In southern hemisphere, you see northwest to southeast. Okay, so that is about the direction of the westerlies winds. By the westerlies winds, the two different phenomena occurs, and we will also discuss about the phenomena of the winter seasonal rainfall in later classes. So first of all, the western side of the European continents lies in a 50 to 60 degree north or a south latitude, or even a Chile region of the South America lies in a 50 to 60 degree southern latitude. In that region, full year rainfall occurs because of the westerlies winds. Because this one is the warm one and it collects moisture while blowing above the Pacific Ocean or Atlantic Ocean, and then produces a rainfall in a western side of the continent. Lies in a 50 to 60 degree north or a south latitude. Again we can see it blows with maximum speed or a vigorous speed in southern hemisphere just because of the vast expansion of the ocean, and it's having some special name like a roaring 40s, a furious 50s, and a striking 60s. Let's have a look. So here it is the point, the dominance of land in the northern hemisphere makes westerlies less effective due to obstructions. This is the point also which you have to remember. The dominance of land in the northern hemisphere makes westerlies less effective due to obstruction because of the friction will occurs between the land area and the winds. So it will abrupt the speed of the winds, slow down the speed of the winds. So what I have said, just because of the vast expansion of the ocean, westerlies winds blows with the maximum speed in the southern hemisphere. Because there is only the 20% land area is found in a southern hemisphere, and after 40 degrees southern latitude there is a very little bit part of the southern America as of Chile and Argentina is lies in that region. Okay, one more point. You see, westerlies are vigorous in the southern hemisphere, hence due to the sound they generate, they are also called what I said here, westerlies winds blows with maximum speed in southern hemisphere due to vast expansion of ocean. And now you can see the several name of the westerlies winds at 40 degree, at 50 degree and 60 degree south latitude. Yes, you are right. Westerlies winds are the warm current, not the cold current, because it comes from subtropical region somewhere. So when it comes from the subtropical region, that region is warmer one. Okay. So here you can see the 40 roaring 40s, furious 50s and the striking 60s. These are the three names given to the westerlies winds which blows around the 40 degree, 50 degree and the 60 degree south latitude. Only in the south latitude, because the land variation in the northern hemisphere doesn't provide optimum condition to blows maximum speed of the westerlies winds. So here you can see the roaring 40s between the 40 to 50 degrees south latitude, furious 50s at around the 50 degree, striking 60s at around the 60 degrees. Welcome to Sony, Nazma, Rimzim. Hope you all are getting. Okay, so this class is totally oriented for the English medium students. So I am trying my best to explain the whole content or a whole concept in an English medium, and hope you do same. Nazma is also from the Sarthak batch. I got your message, Nazma. So this channel is totally oriented for the English medium content classes. And wherever I am teaching, I am trying my best to give the quality content based classes. Either it is a YouTube channel or a paid batch. So now you can see the roaring 40s and a furious 50s and striking 60s. One more point, you can just see into this region. I am also explaining it with one diagram. So here you can see at 40 degree south latitude, you can see this is the part of the, you can see the Australia. Australia is situated above the 40 degree south latitude. Also the, you can see the Africa is above the 40 degree south latitude. So there is a very less region of land surface area is found in the southern hemisphere beyond the 40 degrees south latitude. Okay, so 40 degrees south latitude is called the roaring 40s, at 50 degrees it is called the furious 50s, and at 60 degrees it is called the striking or a screaming 60s. You just remember this figure also. This one is the equator line, and after the 40 degree south latitude, you can see very lesser area of the southern hemisphere or the southern America continent is lies into this region of the Chile and Argentina. Chile and Argentina, which lies till the 55 degree south latitude. So you can see there is the end of African land area, also the end of Australian land area above the 40 degrees south latitude, and here it is the Antarctica. So there is only the oceanic body are there, only the oceans are there. So due to less friction with the land surface, the speed acquires the maximum. Okay, that's why the westerlies blows with maximum speed. Because of this, there is only the watery body, nothing else. There is not a land surface which will obstruct the wind's speed. There is not a mountain or a plateau or a plains region. There is only the surface of the ocean. Where westerlies makes rainfall. Yeah, exactly, Sony. Latitude is same in the northern or the southern hemisphere. Soumya, regarding the cyclone, you have a doubt. Okay. I haven't created my email ID of Exampur. So, first of all, I have to create one and then I will send to you. Okay. So, always remember this concept. Next, we are coming for the one more point about the westerlies. Acha, I have just explained the in between the 50 to 60 degree north or south latitude, the western part of the continent gets rainfall through the westerlies winds. Full year rainfall is there because the westerlies blows full year in that region. But it's just because of the shifting of the pressure belt happening with the shifting of the northwards or southwards of the sun rays or the location of the sun. When the winter season comes, so it will comes down to the low latitude. It blows above the 35 degree north or south latitude, but in winter season, westerlies winds can come till to the 20 degree north or south latitude. And when it blows above the oceanic body or the lakes or a sea region like a westerlies winds in northern hemisphere, when it blows above the Mediterranean Sea in a winter season, it collects moisture and then moving further it produces rainfall, and it is so called the western disturbances in India. Western disturbances. Rainfall occurs just because of the westerlies winds. It collects moisture while moving above the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. So again, one more point here. These are onshore throughout the year on the west coast of continents in the mid latitudes, hence causing rain over the western coast. That is the point also which I have already explained to you. Okay. As you are seeing from my first class to this class, I have also improved my lecture in English. So you should also improve yourself, and I will improve my best. Okay, for coming 5 or 10 classes, you can see I will elaborate the whole things in English medium. I taught a Northeast students and the South Indian students in totally English in offline batches. Hope here we will do some magic also. Okay. So that is all about the westerlies winds. Now we are seeing one more picture in which you can see, I am giving you a next slide. There is equatorial doldrums ITCJ, there is a subtropical high pressure belt, there is a subpolar low pressure belt and the high pressure polar belts. So there are 4 zones, that is the high pressure zone. 2 is the subtropical high pressure and 2 is the polar high pressure zone. And I have already discussed with you guys about the thermal condition and the dynamic conditions which forms the atmospheric belt. Okay. So here one more point about the polar winds, which was left in a permanent winds, the third one, polar winds. Polar winds, it is called what? It is called polar easterlies. Trade winds referred as a easterlies and the polar winds referred as a polar easterlies. Always remember it. It blows between polar high pressure to subpolar low pressure belt. Because it comes from the polar region, this one is the cold winds, it is the frigid winds, and what about the direction of these winds? Direction is same as trade winds. Same as trade winds. Both having a same direction. Like in a northern hemisphere, you can see the northeast to southwest. And in southern hemisphere, you can see the southeast to northwest. Is it clear? Yes or not? Hope you all are getting my points. By this class, I will improve my English also, which I have left from the last 3 to 4 years, when I used to teach in English medium classes in several coaching. But again, I will create the whole things. होप कि जो भी बच्चे अपने सार्थक बैच से अभी जुड़े होंगे, आपको भी कुछ चीज़ें समझ में आ रही होंगी. सुमित, सौम्या, सोनी, ये यूपीएससी वाले बच्चे, जो भी जितने बच्चे जुड़े हुए अपने साथ में, थोड़ा एक्चुअली क्या ना कि अपना चैनल मैक्सिमम बच्चे हिंदी मीडियम के होते हैं और इंग्लिश मीडियम के है भी, तो उनको समझ तो हिंदी में ही आती है. बट आई एम रिजिड टू डिलीवर ऑल माई कंटेंट्स इन इंग्लिश बिकॉज यू शुड लर्न. You should read, you should write. You can't translate your thoughts into English and then you will go for write. Directly you have to write without any translation. And that is the way of studying in English medium. Okay. I have completed my 10th, 11th, 12th and graduation. BSc Maths Honors in English medium, but I have opted Hindi medium in UPSC because at that time I thought my sister has secured the first rank in a university and was the gold medalist. So I thought ki I will take in her notes and I will clear the UPSC. But when I was appeared in prelims exams, then I got it. It is not sufficient. So academic knowledge are something different, and the UPSC, the strategy and the content are different. You have to follow the UPSC criteria, UPSC strategy. There you have to write in 100 words, in a 150 words, 200, 250 words only. There you have to, the intro, the main body and the conclusion, in which you also have to include the current section in conclusion also. Then your writing should be better. Okay. So come for the next, that is the polar winds के बाद अब आते हैं. Second one is seasonal winds. In Hindi it is so called the सामिक पवन. बाइलिंगुअल क्लासेस के लिए तो अपने IAS PCS व एग्जामपुर है ही सौम्य, वहां पर तो बाइलिंगुअल क्लासेस चलती है. ये चैनल बनाया ही गया इंग्लिश मीडियम के लिए. सो होप आज न कल जो इंग्लिश मीडियम के अपने बच्चे हैं जो और कहीं भी पढ़ रहे हैं, जब वो इन लेक्चर्स, इन कंटेंट को देखेंगे, देन दे विल रियलाइज कि हाँ, वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग ऑसम कंटेंट ऑन दिस चैनल, दैट इज द एग्जामपुर IAS इंग्लिश मीडियम. So now we are coming for the secondary or a seasonal winds. So that was the primary also, and here it is the secondary. कई बार क्वेश्चंस ऐसे ही बनते हैं, secondary winds, and the permanent winds was what the primary winds. These are the primary winds. Okay. If you like our lecture, do support us and like and share too. Hadley, Ferrell and polar cell. We have already discussed in the last class, Soumya. We have seen the there was a cell in between the subtropical high pressure and the equatorial low pressure. There is a horizontal winds, the trade winds, and also there was a upper tropospheric winds. This blows from where? This blows from equatorial low pressure to subtropical high pressure in an upper tropospheric region. And also the westerlies winds are also referred as the anti-trade winds. You must remember one more point. Westerlies winds are anti-trade winds also. Sabya Singh, welcome on this channel. IAS PCS से पूरा हिंदी में कंटेंट होता है, बट मेरा नहीं होता है सौम्या. I used to provide the whole content in a English or a Hindi medium both, but this channel is totally oriented for the English medium. So I am trying my best also to give my lecture or total explanation in English. So now in secondary or seasonal waves, you should must write these winds change their direction with the seasonal changes or periodically. These winds changes their direction. ध्यान रखिएगा. Welcome to best also. Change their directions with the seasonal changes. With the seasonal changes and periodically. and periodically. Is it clear? Now, in seasonal winds, we can see, or we will take examples of the monsoon winds. What are types of the seasonal winds? You see, the first one is the monsoon winds. Second one is sea breeze and land breeze. And the third one is valley breeze and mountain breeze. So in seasonal winds or a secondary winds, we are going to take monsoon winds, sea breeze and land breeze, also the valley breeze and the mountain breeze. So today we are going to complete the whole section of the winds. अगर आपने इस पूरे लेक्चर को कर लिया, उसके बाद आप winds के क्वेश्चंस को बनाइए, you will be able to solve the all questions of winds. बेस्ट जो भी आपका नाम होगा बच्चे, ये इंग्लिश मीडियम का चैनल ही है, तो क्या करोगे? आई एम ऑल्सो ट्राइंग माई बेस्ट टू डू बेस्ट इन इंग्लिश, विच आई हैव लेफ्ट फ्रॉम द लास्ट 3 to 4 years. सो ये चैनल ही इंग्लिश मीडियम का है ना, बट चीज़ें समझ में आएंगी. जो भी मैं पढ़ा दूँ ना, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता कि आपको इंग्लिश में पढ़ाऊँ, मैं संस्कृत में ही पढ़ा के जाऊँगा तब भी तुम्हें समझ में आएगा. इतना तो मैं खुद पे विश्वास करता हूँ, क्योंकि हर चीज़ समझाता हूँ फिगर के साथ ना, तो चीज़ें आएंगी समझ में. नहीं कैसे आएगा रे, बताओ जरा सा. और आप सबको भी थोड़ा सा इंग्लिश भी तो इम्प्रूव हो जाएगा इस चैनल पे, साथ साथ में मैं भी थोड़ा अच्छा कर लूँगा. बताओ सौम्या, साव्या, सुमित, सौरभ, सोनी, बेस्ट. पूरा टॉपिक पढ़ा रहा हूँ विंड्स के, अच्छे खासे टॉपिक आपको कंटेंट दे रहा हूं. सो नाउ वी आर कमिंग फॉर द मॉनसून विंड्स. सो वेयर यू विल फाइंड आउट द मॉनसून विंड्स? So it is found especially in Asia, but you can see the monsoonal winds also found in Africa and the Australian continent, and also the southern east region of the North America. Okay. So about the monsoon winds, अब क्या करूं बच्चे, बताओ जरा सा. अब ये चैनल तो इंग्लिश है ना, मैं इंग्लिश में ही लिख सकता हूं, मेरे सारे स्लाइड्स इंग्लिश में. अब ये अगर मुझ पर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी गई है विवेक सर के द्वारा कि सर आप पढ़ाएंगे इंग्लिश मीडियम में, आप देख रहे हैं कि यहाँ पर बच्चे 8-10 से ज़्यादा तो बढ़ते ही नहीं, ठीक है. तो लेकिन जैसे जैसे बच्चों को पता चलेगा ना कि मैं यहाँ पढ़ा रहा हूँ, सो दे विल अप्रोच टू मी, आई न्यू इट. अगर आप इंग्लिश में भी पढ़ा रहा हूँ तो आपको समझ में आएंगे, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि नहीं समझ में आएगा. और आप सब तो बहुत ही प्यारे स्टूडेंट हैं, इतने स्मार्ट हैं, यू कैन ग्रैप्स डेफिनेटली. इसी टाइम पे मंडे, ट्यूसडे, वेडनेसडे, these 3 days I will take classes on this channel in between 11 to 1 PM. ओके, 11 से 1 बजे के बीच में इस चैनल पर मेरी मंडे, ट्यूसडे, वेडनेसडे को क्लास चलती है, 3 दिन चलेगी. पढ़ा के जाऊंगा दमदार, टेंशन नहीं लेने का. अगर कोई आपके दोस्त यार हो तो उसको मैसेज जरूर कर दीजिएगा, इंग्लिश मीडियम का हो तो खास कर जरूर कीजिएगा, शेयर जरूर कीजिएगा, शायद किसी को अच्छा लगे. So write down 1 or 2 sentences about the monsoon winds. A monsoon wind is a seasonal winds found especially in Asia that reverses direction between summer and winter and often brings heavy rains. So what are the monsoon winds? So it is a seasonal winds found in especially in Asia that reverses their directions between summer and winter, and often it brings heavy rains. Okay, so details version of the monsoon winds, we will discuss it in a monsoon or a climate of India, not here. Okay, so till you have to wait. Bilkul, this is oriented for the PT classes best. Definitely. PT के लिए ही क्लासेस चल रही है ना. One more point I want to add here. The Asiatic monsoon is the result of the interaction of both the planetary and the regional factors, and both at the surface and in the upper tropospheric region. Must write down one more sentence what I have said. The Asiatic monsoon is the result of the interaction of both the planetary wind system and regional factors, both at the surface and in the upper tropospheric region. Soumya, have you written? The Asiatic monsoon is the result of the interaction of both the planetary wind system and the regional factors, both at the surface and the upper tropospheric. ये जो मानसून की जो उत्पत्ति होती है, तो मानसून की उत्पत्ति में आप देखते हैं कि सीजनल जो changes of the directions of the winds and also the oceanic currents you can see, so it occurs above the surface as well as in the upper troposphere also. Upper troposphere also. So in monsoonal winds you can see the Hadley cycle which is in between the subtropical high pressure and equatorial low pressure. But in the summer season, the Hadley cell rises above the Tibet region, and here it is the Tibet, because of the intense heating of the okay, I will finish it. So because of the intense heating of the Tibetan plateau, this area becomes a low pressure, and you see the Hadley cell, which in a normal season the air subsidence in between the equatorial region to the subtropical region like this. Now you see, so here it is a trade winds, here it is the anti-trade winds or a upper tropospheric current in a normal condition. But in monsoon time, now you see the air rises above the Tibet plateau and it subsidizes nearby the Madagascar in a southern hemisphere. So there is a lapse of Hadley cell in between the tropical and the subtropical region, and you see the winds blows from and the oceanic currents moves to southern hemisphere to northern hemisphere. So here it is the totally change of the Hadley cell in monsoon season. So what I have said, कि Asiatic monsoon affects both at the surface and at the upper troposphere also. Very crucial concept of this thing. Whenever you will read a monsoon system with me, I will try my best to explore the all phenomena by which the monsoon occurs above the Indian subcontinent region. Okay, so today we have to stop our classes and wind up our classes till now. because of the next class has already arranged for some other faculty in this studio. So I have to stop my class right now, and we will meet you tomorrow morning 11 a.m. Hope you all are getting my concepts. The main thing about me, which is by which I know to the all persons, that is by the content. So I am trying my best to give the content to you. एंड मिलते हैं कल फिर सुबह 11 बजे. टिल देन खुश रहिए, मस्त रहिए, पढ़ते रहिए और चीज़ों को इंग्लिश से पढ़ना सीखिए. कल सुबह आप लोगों से 11 बजे. ये कंटेंट अभी आपको पोस्ट हो जाएगा एग्जामपुर ऑफिशियल एप्लीकेशन पर. देयर यू कैन डाउनलोड द फ्री पीडीएफ. ओके. और भी कल हम लोग स्टार्ट करेंगे सी ब्रिज, लैंड ब्रिज. ऑसम कंसेप्ट मैं कल आपको प्रोवाइड करूंगा एंड वी विल गो फॉर द साइक्लोन टुमारो मॉर्निंग. ओके. सो टिल देन सी यू, गुड बाय.